I love the community there. And so I switched my major into theater, and I did my first year and a half there. I had a little bit more focus for school because now I was finally getting to do what I wanted to do. But it was different because I didn't know how to be on my own. You know, my entire life I was kind of sheltered in the sense that like it's me and my older brother and then my younger brother. But right before me, my mom had lost a child. I had an older sister.
Okay.
And after she passed away and then I was born, I was so like, she was always protecting me.
Babied.
Babied, yeah. But it was tough because I didn't want to be baited. I was the one that was like climbing trees. She'd be like, "Where were you?" I was like, "Oh, I went to the skate park down in the other town." And she's like, "What?" You know, I was always wanting to be energetic and outside. And so that made it difficult for me to kind of learn to be independent truly. When I went to college is where I started to see that independence, and I didn't realize how easy I had it. And I didn't realize how easy I had it until a year after my first year of college. That's when the whole Brazilian corruption scandal came out in like 2014. You remember the Lava Jato where they found out all the corruption stuff with Gilma and stuff? So my dad was still working in Brazil at the time. And that's when the real went from like 2 reais to $1 to I think 6 reais to $1. It's like about the same now. I think it's like 4 or 5 now.
Yeah.
But it was like
6 now. Something
is
like
it?
that.
Yeah. So it's like as bad as it was
Since
there.
Trump. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was really bad for us at that time because I was in college. My older brother was done with school, but my younger brother was still in high school and private school. You have to pay tuition for that too. And so my dad's struggling to like make that 5 times to be able to pay for my university fees and stuff like that. And I'm like reaching out. I'm like, "Dad, you gonna be able to send in the money?" And he's like, yeah, next week. And the whole time he's expecting money to come in, but it just didn't work out because of the issues there in Brazil where like all of the money he was getting was working to pay for his expenses in the business in Brazil. So I was struggling to get those initial payments in. So after like 2 months, I took a pause. I initially just took a pause. I was like, school started in August. I did school August, September, and then beginning of October, I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this semester. Let me just wait for my dad to catch up on finances. And then I just never went back. I paused and I was thinking about going back to Florida just until, you know, my dad could catch up on finances because of the whole financial thing in Brazil. And then instead of me like taking 3 steps back, because at this point I was like, I want to be an actor. I made it to LA or to California, right? I want to be able to go to school, get a degree in acting, not realizing you don't need one, and then move to LA eventually and start working. And at that time, I started traveling back. I did it twice. Like I went to Florida and then back to California, Florida and then back to California. And then my mom was like, "Honey, I don't think your dad's going to be able to get the money in time for you to go back to school. Maybe you should just move back and just do like a gap year." And in my head, I was like, if I do that, I'm going to take like 3 steps back. So let me stay and like stay here and just figure it out. So I had a bunch of friends that worked in like actually, you know, weren't coddled as kids. So they were like, "Just go get a job." I was like, "I don't know how to do that." And they're like, "Well, figure it out. Here, I have a friend who works at In-N-Out. You want to go work at In-N-Out?" I was like, "I mean, I like In-N-Out." So put in a good word for me. And my very first job at 19 was at In-N-Out Burger on 19th